Let's get a little bit of perspective going on the commodity market space. Jonathan Barret, CEO of barretsbulletin.com, is joining in right now for a quick chat on the phone line from Sydney. Jonathan, good morning. Thanks very much for joining in. You know, since the start of October, we have seen that crude prices, they've fallen almost 37%, but the direction in which, you know, this whole Western bloc versus Iran, that standoff is taken, that doesn't augur too well.
Yeah, they're very much so. I mean, I think when you look at the price of oil, you can really see that we've factored in this Middle Eastern premium. And I think that given where we are with Brent and crude oil, that perhaps we've got to question whether or not that Middle Eastern premium is actually warranted at this stage of the game.
Jonathan, don't you think that there's perhaps a little too much talk about war? Because, you know, all of this rhetoric about war, the only, you know, government it has benefited is perhaps the Iranian government, which is driving, and all this talk is driving up the price of oil.
Look, you're 100% correct. And I think that the premium is as a result of this talk of military action. However, we take note of the comments by President Obama that basically said that they would not look at a preemptive military strike to any concern. Now, we have to gauge very closely the meeting that has happened between Israel's Prime Minister and Barack Obama in the next 12 to 13 hours to gauge whether or not what will come. But at the end of the day, look, I feel that nothing should happen on the military side because oil is too important to all our economies to see prices escalate to levels, you know, to historic levels. So I don't think we'll get to that level.
Jonathan, there's been some reports about some pipeline at Enbridge which has been shut because two vehicles collided and there was a massive fire somewhere in Illinois. Has that had any sort of impact on the prices of crude overall, or is that something that the commodity markets are taking into account at all?
I think it's something that the commodity market looks at to see whether it is strategic. Remember, we did have some pipeline concerns in Saudi the other day, and we saw the price skyrocket for Brent and also for West Texas. I think that's because it was of a strategic nature, but as soon as it came out, then the market realised that it had nothing to do with the conflict, developing conflict that we have in Iran. The market will monitor them, but only see them as a strategic area if, in fact, something does occur.
Any levels, Jonathan, that you'd like to help us with as far as crude oil goes?
When I'm looking at crude oil, particularly on the West Texas contract, I actually feel if we can get back to 103, 102.50, then I think that's fair value for it, given that we're still trying to get into a recovery mode for the global economy. So I actually see prices coming back a little bit to 102, 102.50, then I'll have a look at it. But we have to stress that the main concern is Iran, and that does remain a wild card for us. So if anything happens there, we have to be very close to our screens and prices because, as we've seen before, you can see prices go bid on the back of very little news.
We like the figures that you've just given us, Jonathan. Thanks very much for your perspective. Good day to you. Hope all of you there in Sydney and here in India as well, all of us, we have a positive and productive trading day.